านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านคะอีกสักครู่เดียวเท่านั้นค่ะงานประชุมในวันนี้กำลังจะเริ่ม
We are about to start our conference in the next few minutes. For those of you wishing to obtain translation headsets, please contact our staff at the reception counter. Interpretation will be provided in both Thai and English. For those of you wishing to use the translation headsets, please pick up one at the reception counter. Thank you.
แล้วค่ะ Ladies and gentlemen, our conference today will soon commence. So all the presentation will be presented in both Thai and English. The presentation will be in both Thai and English. So please collect your translation headset at the entrance. So for those who would like to have your translation in from Thai to English, so please collect your translation headset at the entrance. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our third international conference on equitable education is about to commence. So for all ladies and gentlemen who have arrived, so please kindly be seated. Kindly be seated accordingly. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะ Sawadika. Good morning. A very good morning, actually. Warmest welcome to all distinguished delegates and all the global leaders and change makers in equitable education. And also warmest welcome to all the media representatives from both local and international communities. I am Phai Rinyarat Ratana Patniyom. It's just too long, I know that. So it's just five for short. That's my name. My greatest pleasure and honor to extend the warmest welcome to all ladies and gentlemen to Bangkok, the Kingdom of Thailand, and to the third International Conference on Equitable Education, or All for Education AFE Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm extending the warmest gratitude for your presence today on behalf of Equitable Education Fund, EEF Thailand, UNESCO Regional Office in Bangkok, Ministry of Education, Thailand, Princess Mahachakri Award Foundation, UNICEF Thailand, CMEO Secretary, UNHCR, Program Management Office of Kartu Prakoja, National Institute of Lifelong Education, Asia South Pacific Association for Basic and Adult Education, Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, Cambodia, and the Equitable Education Alliance. Ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating this gathering under a very beautiful theme, reimagining education, co-creating lifelong learning for youth and adults. Today's conference is aimed at advancing equity in education, and it is being organized on every second year basis. And it is emphasizing on lifelong learning, youth empowerment, flexible learning pathways, and skill development. We are also addressing key issues like support for marginalized groups, overcoming skills gaps among needs or not in education, employment or training, and ensuring equitable access to quality education. Ladies and gentlemen, in this very moment, we would like to commence the conference with the opening ceremony, and it's my greatest pleasure and honor to invite Dr. Tin Siripo from Early Child Development Office, UNICEF Thailand, to moderate the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and sawadika. Familiar faces, familiar friendship, and a very good gesture of friendly. Well, this is a very good opportunity for all the partners in Thailand and also global to come together at this AFE conference. Just to give you a little bit of information, this AFE conference was organized, this is the third time. The first time was in 2021 when we start this and EF start initiated. And the second one was on 2022, every other year. And this year is the third one. Normally, the conference will organize it back-to-back with the Princess Mahachakri Award Foundation activity because it's a big foundation which it's a sisters organization with EEF. The foundation nurture teacher who are the best teacher in Southeast Asia, and this year extended to Mongolia, Bhutan, and Bangladesh, and the high official of Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Mongolia are also with us together with distinguished guests from ASEAN member countries today. So we're very happy to expand. And one of the other things that it's very, I would say very happy to see is that the network of the Equitable Alliance have been expanding. Many of you have been with us from the very beginning, from the 2020, now have expanded, starting just for a few organizations, 2 or 3, now have expanded to 8, and who knows, there'll be much more. So first, I would like to invite Dr. Krayot Pattarawat, the Managing Director of the Equitable Education Fund, to report to His Excellency and all of you on the task of EEF and welcome everyone. Please, Dr. Grayot.
Good morning from Bangkok, Thailand, to everyone who attend the conference on site and online. I would like to start giving a remark in Thai at the beginning of this conference. กราบเรียนท่านสุรศักดิ์
Mr. Surasak Panjaran Waragun, Deputy Minister of Education, Ms. Marina Patrie, Deputy Director of UNESCO Bangkok Office, Ms. Severine Leonardi, Deputy Representative of UNICEF Thailand, Dr. Denny Purpasari, Executive Director of Prakerja Project Office, Dr. Bo Chan Kolika, Undersecretary of State, Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, Cambodia, Assistant Professor Dr. Sarinthorn Saklokam, Director General of International Cooperation, Ministry of Education and Sports, Mr. Dewang Chobel Dorji, Secretary of Ministry of Education and Skill Development, and executives of all partners who are part of the organizers of this event today, representatives of the EEA Equitable Education Alliance, distinguished guests. As Khun Tinsari has kindly pointed out that the AFE conference started in probably the most difficult time ever known to humankind, which is COVID-19. We started in 2020, and that was a time where we all faced the crisis of the pandemic. But it was a special year actually because we commemorated the 30 year of the Jom Tien Protocol, in which we actually pledge our dedication to propose for universal education. This is something that we all want to see youths and children to get access to. So at the time in 2020, we wanted to commemorate the 30 years of that pledge and learning from the difficult times from the COVID-19 in order for us to propel the achievement of that goal. I could say that education for all can only take place when everyone or all of us are for education as well. So after 2020 onwards, we held these AFE conference in 2022 as well, and we were learning about recovery because during the time, many countries were still trying to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. So at the time in 2022, we were trying to galvanize and mobilize all resources so that we can bring children, students back to education. So in 2022, we used this platform to exchange knowledge and experiences to deliver concrete changes and achievements. And over the past year, the data we achieved from UNESCO, we found out that about 200 million children and youths are still outside of education. This number is very high around the world, and this is the remnants of the COVID-19 pandemic up until today. To these days, even in Thailand itself, we have poor children, about 1.8 million of them here in Thailand, and 1 million of them are still outside of education. That is the reason why the EEF, as well as our partners, those who are behind the AFE conference today, we are dedicated to look for even more partners, to look for ways to exchange knowledge, to find a more sustainable solution to this problem. And so today, the conference is under the theme of reimagining education. So we are trying to deliver lifelong learning for all children. And in doing that, we need to reimagine the ways we do things so that we can come up with sustainable solutions and do something that are different from what we have done so far. Apart from all those efforts, today's conference has the purpose to propose strategies, mechanisms, lessons learned, as well as
policy recommendations to deliver a more sustainable solutions as well as more flexible solutions as well, making sure that each country can learn something, making sure that education practitioners, academics, relevant bodies and agencies to have the opportunity to learn from each other, to exchange ideas, and to make sure that they bring back all these key lessons learned to change their countries as well as their partners. So today's conference, we have more than 2,000 participants online, and this is probably the highest number we have seen so far after hosting this conference. We have about 2,600 people who register, and 44 countries around the world have registered as well. So on site, we have about 150 participants. I believe now is the auspicious time that I would like to invite Mr. Surasak Pancharan Waragun, Deputy Minister of Education, to deliver the opening remarks for the third international conference on equitable education, on reimagining education, co-creating lifelong learning for youth and adults. The floor is yours, Mr. Minister.
สวัสดีครับ ท่านดร.
Dr. Nahathai Thiophaiengam Kun Aw, the chairperson of the EC Model Human Capital Development Committee, Dr. Trayot Patrawat, Managing Director, the Equitable Education Fund, EF, Ms. Marina Patrie, Deputy Director, UNESCO Regional Office in Bangkok, Ms. Seren Leonardi, Deputy Representative, UNICEF Thailand, Dr. Bo Saikolika, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, Kingdom of Cambodia, Assistant Professor Dr. Sinthorn Saklawkham, the Director General of International Cooperation, Ministry of Education and Sports, Lao PDR, Mr. Evang Chofo Dorji, Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Education and Skills Development, the Kingdom of Bhutan, Mr. Karik Fermit, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Mass Education, the Republic of Bangladesh, Ms. Narandiran Jam, Senior Specialist, Ministry of Planning and Education Integration, People's Republic of Mongolia, participants to the meeting, both joining us online and on site. Good morning once again, everyone. I'm pleased and honored to be signed by the Minister of Education, Police Colonel Phumpoon Chitchop, to be sharing and opening the International Conference on Equitable Education, Reimagining Education, Co-creating Lifelong Learning for Youth and Adults. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a very special occasion for all of us in terms of its symbolic representation and also in terms of our future endeavors to address inequalities and inequity in education delivery and provision. There are a number of children and young people who have limited or no access to education, and it requires our international cooperation to mobilize our resources to ensure that we are able to reach our goal as part of the alliance or all for education. We need to ensure that all children and all citizens have access to education and are able to remain in the education system and enable them to have lifelong learning regardless of their race, ethnicity, gender, age, or any other kinds of limitations or restrictions. In 2023, Thailand hosted a ministerial conference for the Asia Pacific region titled SDG number 4 on education for all. The parties to the conference have together announced the Bangkok Statement 2022 towards an effective learning recovery for all and transforming education in the Asia Pacific region. The Bangkok Statement 2022 emphasizes the importance of all partners and alliance working together as part of the Education Summit 2022 globally towards education and equitable education for all. In 2024 as well, Thailand has hosted the 13th ASEAN Education Ministers meeting, and we have issued jointly the Buriram Joint Statement for ASEAN Education Ministers. This has also reiterated alliance and cooperation across all sectors of Thai society to promote multi-sectoral and multidimensional education, especially in light of education in the digital era. What we want to focus is not only to provide knowledge, skills, competencies to young people, but also to ensure that they have the employability and they are able to generate their own income, sustain their livelihoods, and have good quality of life. Quality education is an equalizer for everyone. This has provided foundational elements for all citizens to prosper. And in Thailand, we need to ensure that education equity is one of the key aspects and fundamental elements to be provided to all our population. According to statistics from the EEF, it is found that 1.02 million children and young people are not in the education system, and 1.8 million children and young people are at risk of dropping out. With that in the background, the Ministry of Education, having its mandate to ensure quality education delivery and provision of equitable education for all, we are doing the best of our ability to make sure that children and young people are enrolled in school, they are able to learn, and they are able to prosper, and they are able to grow meaningfully in lives. For children and young people who are still in the educational system but are susceptible to dropping out, as part of the joint statement of the ASEAN Education Ministries, the Thai government, through the Ministry of Education, has allocated ample resources and finances to ensure that we are able to prevent dropouts of students and to provide relevant education, flexible education, and also equip them with the right skills and employability for them to grow later in lives. We do hope that children and these young people will be able to develop themselves and grow up to become our quality citizens in the future. Starting from the year 2022, Thailand, with the Ministry of Education, alongside with our key partners, in which the EF is one, all together encompassing 11 entities together, we have formulated a task force to implement the Thailand Zero Dropout initiative to provide customized personal planning and assistance plans to make sure that we are able to monitor and keep track of children and young people who may be at risk of dropping out, to ensure that they are able to remain in the educational system, they are able to learn, and they are able to support themselves. These initiatives marks a really important collaboration across multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral actors, hence enabling effective deliverables and efficiency in terms of multi-sectoral collaboration. We are honored as well to be further supported by private entities, international organizations, and also CSOs, which have tirelessly provided their long-term support and commitments to ensure that we can prevent dropouts for children and young people who are already at risk and are prone to dropping out. Therefore, we need to ensure that this issue is not forgotten. It remains in the spotlight, and all of us will be working together to ensure that we provide equitable education and access to quality education to all. I myself, in my capacity as the Deputy Minister of Education, I will also be part of the network of All for Education. I'm committed to together develop human capital and develop human resources in a meaningful way, and to ensure that quality education and access to education are provided to all, so that everybody is on the same standing point and they are able to sustain themselves, and also to make our society more equitable, not only for Thailand, but the benefits will be enjoyed by all members of the countries in the world. In this regard, I would like to express my gratitude to the Princess Mahajagri Award Foundation, Ministry of Education, the EF, UNESCO Regional Office, Bangkok, UNICEF Regional Office, and also UNICEF Thailand, the UNHCR, the Ministerial Organization of ASEAN, Parkachar, under the Ministry of Economic Coordination, Indonesia, Institution for Lifelong Learning of South Korea, and all actors who have been instrumental to the organizing of this event. We appreciate your long-term support and commitment to address inequalities and inequity in education, and to place significant emphasis on empowering children and young people, which we are experiencing today through our organization of this international conference. This marks a very concrete step for us and an action for us to take forward. And with that, I would like to officially open our international conference on equitable education, reimagining education, co-creating lifelong learning for youth and adults. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. To capture what Dr. Grayot and Your Excellency, Mr. Surasak mentioned is that the key message that Mr. Grayot or Dr. Grayot mentioned is two things. One is the reimagining education that we're doing, create opportunity. This opportunity make us think different. By thinking different, we can create something fruitful for our youth and for our children. That's the first key message. The second key message is that having a partnership will bring change. Just like what we're doing here, the Alliance of the Equitable Education is the partnership that's getting stronger every day. So that's the two key messages from Dr. Grayot. And His Excellency Mr. Surasak also point out several key important messages of Thailand Ministry of Education. The first one is that the opportunity and equity is one of the national key strategies of Ministry of Education Thailand. So we can see how important opportunity and equity is in Thailand. The second key message is that the human resource development is important and crucial for Thailand. To make quality human resource development, you need to have an interministerial coordination, and you also have a inter-coordination among institutions within Thailand and globally. So both of them have two important key messages, but they have one message is common, that is partnership brings education of quality, and partnership brings all for education. So that is the very crucial part of two of our speakers this morning. Partnership brings quality for all of education. So now let's hear the statement from also our partners in this alliance and coordinating this event. First, I would like to invite Ms. Marina Patier, the Deputy Director of UNESCO Regional Office in Bangkok, to provide a statement on behalf of UNESCO.
Mr. Surasak Pancharon Vorakul, Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Grayot Patwariat, Managing Director, Equitable Education Fund Thailand, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, partners in education, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. Sawadika. It's a privilege to join you today. Before we begin, let me ask you a simple question. What would you do if you were a teacher? Imagine yourself in a classroom surrounded by students, some eager to learn, some maybe less eager to learn. Can you feel the weight of the future you hold in your hands? Now imagine trying to teach without the resources you required, or working within policies that don't reflect the realities of your classroom. Would you feel supported? Would you feel heard? This is the challenge many teachers face today, and it's part of a much bigger issue, the global learning crisis. Early this month, we celebrated World Teachers' Day, and just this week, the Princess Maha Chakri Award Foundation honored outstanding teachers, transforming the lives of students across our region. The foundation just celebrated its 10th anniversary and has built a strong network of educators that are sharing experiences and best practices across the Asian countries and Timor-Leste. It will be expanded to 3 more countries next year. But as much as we celebrate teachers' efforts, we must also recognize the structural challenges they face, and by extension, the challenges our education systems face. Across the world, 115 million young people still lack basic literacy and numeracy skills. 60% are women. This is just not a statistic, it's a wake-up call. In Southeast Asia alone, 12% of secondary school-age youth remain out of school. That's more than 8 million young people left on the margins without the skills and opportunities they need to thrive. If we are serious about addressing the global crisis, global education crisis, we must understand why so many people, young people, are left behind. Access to education is critical, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. The world is changing, and our education systems need to change with it. What does education look like in a world whose climate is rapidly heating? Rising sea levels, extreme weather, and natural disasters are forcing thousands of families to relocate, disrupting the education of many children and their access to schooling. Many schools are regularly shut down by floods, by typhoons. This is today's reality. In addition, the shift toward a green economy is transforming the global job market. Yet many education systems do not prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow. How many of our schools are teaching environmental engineering or renewable energy technology? Workplaces are also being transformed through automation and AI. And for young people, especially for young people with limited skills, this presents a serious challenge. If we don't provide them with the tools to navigate this new landscape, we risk widening the gap between those with opportunities and those without. These issues, climate change, green skills gap, and AI, are not challenges for tomorrow. They are pressing concerns today. If we don't act now, we will face a usually unstable future. This is why, just last month, world leaders gathered in New York and they adopt the Pact for the Future. This landmark agreement reaffirms our global commitment to scale up investment in education and accelerate efforts to bridge these growing disparities. But let's be clear, agreements on papers are not enough. What matters now is turning this commitment into actions. So what can we do together to achieve the goals of the Pact for the Future? First, we must build flexible and inclusive education programs that target young people at risk of being left behind, whether due to socioeconomic status, gender, language, ethnicity, disability, or geographic location. One-size-fits-all education system no longer work. We need systems that adapt to the diverse needs of learners. Initiatives like UNESCO Learning Coin Project help reach disadvantaged young people outside formal education systems, but more innovative solutions are urgently needed. Second, education cannot stop at secondary or university level. In a world where technology and industries evolve so rapidly, lifelong learning is essential. And this is where partnerships become crucial. Government, civil society, and the private sector must come together to design and fund programs that make lifelong learning accessible to everyone, regardless of background and income. So let's not forget the most important element of all this: teachers. In every effort to reform education system, teachers must be at the center of decision-making. Their first-hand experience gives them insight into what truly works in the classroom. They know the challenges their students face, and very often they know the solutions. But too often their voices are not heard. Early, I ask you to imagine yourself as a teacher. What tools would empower you to work effectively in your classroom? This is the core question in UNESCO work, to improve teacher involvement and digital literacy through programs like the CAPED in Lao PDR. The efforts in Lao PDR are just one example. At last month's Asia-Pacific meeting on education 2030, hosted here in Thailand, experts from across the region reaffirm, all of them reaffirms that teacher must be central to policy making if we are serious about overcoming the challenges in education. So as we move forward from the commitment made at the Pact for the Future at the Asia-Pacific meeting on education 2030, it's time to turn these words into reality. We can start by listening to our teachers, engaging them in policy that affect their classroom, and giving them the tools they need to succeed. Together, we can build an education system that doesn't just prepare students for today's challenges, but equip them with the skills and knowledge they need for the future. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Ms. Marina Patier. The interesting statement from UNESCO comprised of 3 key messages. First is that we need a flexible system, the system that enables students to grow to their highest potential. That's the first key message. The second one is there is a need for a lifelong learning opportunity, and that's also equally important. And the third key message is listen to teachers' voice, get them involved, have them be part of the whole policy formulation, not just let them implement. So those 3 important key messages we have from UNESCO regional office in Bangkok from Ms. Patier. So thank you very much. So now, let's hear from the next statement. Equally important as a UN organization that works on education is UNICEF. I would like to invite Ms. Severine Leonardi, the Deputy Representative of UNICEF Thailand, to give her statement on behalf of UNICEF.
Good morning, Swadika, bonjour. Mr. Surasak Punjawaran Lakun, Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Krayos Partawat, Managing Director of EFF, Marina, colleagues, distinguished panel, guests, participants. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today. And I'm amazed by the breadth of the participants, be it from policymakers, educators, teachers, school leaders, young people, without forgetting them, because they will also have a very important role to play today, and many development partners from Thailand, from the region, neighboring countries, etc. I'm not going to teach you that education plays obviously a very crucial role in the lives of young people. It empowers them with the knowledge and the skills that are necessary for their personal and their professional growth to be active members of society. It helps them to nurture them as responsible citizens who can actively participate in the society. Despite this understanding, the consensus among all of us, significant challenge persists. Children's right to quality education, young people access to relevant opportunities continue to be hindered. This past July, the UN Secretary General acknowledged the progress in addressing the global education crisis and the inadequacy of a response. This is even more important as we celebrate the 2 years anniversary of the Transforming Education Summit in 2022. The recent Asia-Pacific meeting on education 2030 has brought these challenges into sharp focus. In our region, the statistics are alarming. We have approximately 150 million young people aged 15 to 24 who are not in employment, education, or training. 50% of primary and lower secondary students meet minimum competencies in reading and in mathematics. Less than 40% complete upper secondary education. These issues are compounded by growing inequality, the irreversible impact of climate change, and widespread conflict and violence. It's not surprise that many young people today are feeling anxious and uncertain as they navigate a rapidly changing world, a world that they did not create and that they are inheriting from all of us. So to prepare our children, our young people, we must equip them with the skills to cope, but also the skills to strive and transform the society. As adults and duty bearers, it is our responsibility to ensure that education extends beyond the classroom and support lifelong learning. The UN Secretary General has urged every single country to strive to create true learning society built on systems that provide lifelong learning opportunities from childhood through adulthood. So drawing on UNICEF experience in more than 100 countries, I want to highlight 5 key policies that are priority for emerging education. Student-centered learning. We must provide multiple and flexible pathways so that all learners can access education that suits their needs in different points in time through their lives and through their careers. Including digital learning to ensure that everyone benefits from the digital transformation of education. Investment in early years. Targeted investment is essential to address social disadvantages and as early as possible in education. Skills-based education. We need to focus on foundational learning that incorporates socio-emotional development, critical thinking, and transferable skills. And last but not least, strengthening teachers' training. It's vital to prepare teachers to support learners through the future challenges. A brighter future for our children and young people must begin today. As we think about the future of education, we must ask ourselves, are our current system enabling or hindering our vision? Are we envisioning a single future or a flexible system that adopts the diverse needs of every child? How can we provide educational opportunities that help our children realize their fullest potential while ensuring their well-being? I hope the conference will provide meaningful conversation and collaboration, influencing both national and international policy to ensure equitable access to engaging, experiential, effective learning for all children and young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Severine. So the key message from Severine is that first, when we deal with youth or children, we need to equip them with not only skills, but we need to equip them with skills to thrive and to transform. So that's the skill that they require more than just coping with all the challenges, but they need to be able to go forward from there. The second one is emphasis on the system, and the system that provides lifelong learning opportunity. So 2 big messages from UNICEF, but there are common key messages from both UNESCO and UNICEF is that they all talk about 2 things. One is system that has to be flexible, system that allows children to have opportunity to learn. And the second comment that both organizations have a strong key message is we need to provide a flexible pathway for the children to give them choices to choose. And also we need to look and hear and involve teacher. So system and implementer that we need to have them work together. But it's all common that they all talk about opportunity that we need to give to young children, not from the past, but from today and from future. So thank you very much from all the 4 speakers for these sessions. Okay. Let's give them a big round of applause again for all the speakers. Before we start the youth sessions, we would like to show some videos of EF, or the Equitable Education Fund.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3rd International Conference on Equitable Education, Reimagining Education, Co-Creating Lifelong Learning for Youths and Adults. The International Conference on Equitable Education, known as the All for Education AFE Conference, is held back-to-back with the Princess Mahachakri Award, PMCA Forum, and provides a platform for policymakers, practitioners, experts, and other education stakeholders to come together and exchange best practices, innovations, knowledge, and research to promote equity-based education and initiatives for underprivileged children and youths, in line with the Jomtien World Declaration on Education for All. Despite the global prioritization of education, it is estimated that 244 million children and young adults globally are not attending school, and 763 million adults still lack fundamental literacy and numeracy skills, with 2/3 of this population being women and almost half of them situated in Southern Asia. Against this backdrop, skills constraints and the rising number of NEETs, not in education, employment, or training, among young adults underscore the need for education and skills development to promote decent work for all. In addition, the International Labor Organization's global framework emphasizes core skills for life and work in the 21st century, encompassing a wide range of knowledge and skills, including social-emotional skills, cognitive and metacognitive skills, digital skills, and basic skills for green jobs. Recognizing the significance of these skills and competencies, it is paramount to cultivate awareness and foster these skills and competencies through lifelong learning, while revitalizing the education system for improved equity, quality, and sustainability. This will enable the next generations to thrive and succeed in the years to come, and we will be one step closer to achieving Sustainable Development Goal 4, especially in achieving equitable access to education and lifelong learning opportunities for all. Since the first International Conference on Equitable Education in 2020, an academic and operational network known as the Equitable Education Alliance. The Alliance consists of members dedicated to promoting equitable access to education through technical support, knowledge sharing, and establishing collaborations and networks. Each member has made a difference in various aspects of education and learning in the region, such as the National Institute for Lifelong Education is a public institution under the Korean Ministry of Education dedicated to promoting lifelong education and learning for all, with a vision to create an inclusive lifelong education safety net and learning platform for everyone. Now plays a crucial role in shaping national policies, implementing diverse educational programs, and providing resources that support lifelong and life-wide learning across all age groups. Through these efforts, NAL contributes to building a more resilient and equitable society. Launched in 2020, Pekerja is Indonesia's first large-scale skill development program, promoting lifelong learning. The program offers upskilling and reskilling scholarships to 18.9 million beneficiaries. Pekerja is inclusive to all, including people with vulnerabilities. Through strong multi-stakeholder collaboration, Pekerja offers training aligned with evolving job market needs. The Asia South Pacific Association for Basic and Adult Education, ASBE, is a regional network of 264 civil society organizations and individual members in 31 countries in the Asia-Pacific region. ASBE believes that education, including adult learning and education, is a fundamental human right. It works towards securing the right of all people to basic, youth, and adult education of good quality, and believes in the transformative power of education in contributing towards poverty eradication, social justice, gender equality, sustainable development, and lasting peace. The Cambodia's National Lifelong Learning Policy, undertaken by the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Sport, aims to empower every Cambodian citizen with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values to contribute to economic growth and promote individual and social harmony. The policy emphasizes lifelong learning opportunities accessible at any time in any place and through any means, with a particular focus on supporting vulnerable and disadvantaged groups to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. Additionally, it seeks to establish a comprehensive and flexible lifelong learning program that enhances literacy as well as skills development. UNESCO sees education as the key to unlocking a sustainable future. As the global coordinator of the Education 2030 Agenda, UNESCO is working with young people around the world to reimagine education systems and partnering with countries to build inclusive learning societies where learning is accessible to everyone at every stage of life. These transformations empower learners, young and old, to become creative and responsible global citizens. UNICEF works in over 190 countries and territories to save children's lives, protect their rights, and help them fulfill their potential from early childhood through adolescence. In Thailand, UNICEF works to ensure that the country's rapid development also benefits the most disadvantaged children. UNICEF works to give every child the best start in life, improving access to quality education, protecting them from violence, and empowering young people. In education, UNICEF strives for inclusive, equitable learning that equips children with 21st century skills, collaborating with partners to strengthen policies and systems. UNICEF's efforts focus on ensuring that no child is excluded from education due to gender, disability, poverty, ethnicity, or language barriers. UNHCR helps those who cannot return home due to conflict and persecution rebuild their lives through access to education and work, while also helping find long-term solutions. When children and young people are forced to flee, they can miss out on years of schooling. UNHCR works with governments and partners to help them access quality education, learning, and training, despite their circumstances. Schools also offer a stable and safe environment for children who have been through the traumatic experience of displacement and can help protect them from forced recruitment into armed groups or child labor. CEMEO, with its 11 member countries, 9 associate members, 8 affiliate members, and 26 regional centers and network, is committed to achieving our vision of providing a better quality of life in Southeast Asia through implementing programs, projects, and activities geared towards access to inclusive quality education, advancing science and technology, and preserving the rich and diverse culture of the region. The Equitable Education Fund, EEF Thailand, was established in 2018 to provide financial support for children and youth who are in the greatest need in Thailand. EEF aims to reduce educational inequality by forming partnerships with different groups and conducting systematic research to support and develop teachers' effectiveness. In addition to preventing school dropouts, EEF recognizes the importance of developing flexible learning pathways and models that all learners can choose based on their individual needs, especially for those outside the education system. With all the combined efforts of each organization, it has culminated in this special occasion where we join together to create a brighter future for education and learning in the world. As we move forward, we would like to welcome you to the Equitable Education Alliance and be part of our wider movement to reduce educational inequalities across the globe. Together, we can create a rich network of partnerships that drive systemic change for learning and build a future where everyone can reach their full potential, whether through formal education or other flexible learning pathways.
Ladies and gentlemen, every single piece of the puzzle is just as equally significant. And that includes everyone in this on-site conference and more than 2,600 online attendees as well. In the next session, ladies and gentlemen, because as mentioned during the opening ceremony, in order to fix the problem, we need the one that really straightly involved in the problem and in the core issue itself. So I guess today, in order to improve the future, we need someone who owns the future. So it's called Youth Talk, and in this section, we will amplify the voices of the young and next generation. We will hear some valuable insights that for sure will allow all of us and all of them to create a better today and brighter tomorrow, that no one is left behind, ladies and gentlemen. So in this very moment, I'd like to invite once again, back to the stage, Dr. Tin Siripo to join us in leading and hosting the future of lifelong learning for young people. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Okay, so this is where things start to happen and the voice will be heard because we have been hearing the statement of the policymakers. We have been hearing the statement of UN organization. Every time we have to think of who are the one that matters most at the end of what we're saying. And the one who matter most are the children. So this youth talk, we will hear from two youth that have a very good experience or experience in the part that they get the involvement of their colleagues and their friends. So I'd like to first invite Ms. Nada, the president of the Children and Youth Council of Thailand. And the second is Ms. Noor Yati Sultan, the co-founder and director of the Youth Empowerment and Digital Literacy Collaboration Network, Rohingya. Please. What do you think of this platform? It's amazing, right? It's gender, women, youth. Give them a round of applause again. Yes. And it's amazing, not only women, but Muslim. So this is something that we have to remember as a youth voice. Before I come up the stage, I have an opportunity to talk to both of them. Noor, that's I will call her, and Nada. They have an amazing stories. I will let them share their stories, and then we'll hear how their voice is. So first start with Noor. Noor, she is now in the US. Her network is in the US, but with her story, you'll hear how she comes about with this collaboration network and also how she ends up in the US and working there at the moment. Yes, Noor?
Good morning, everyone. And sorry, Kab. And Selamat Pagi. And so this is the latest presentation that I made for this conference. My name is Noor Hayati. I was born in Malaysia, and I was displaced there for, how do I change this?
Click the
Green one, okay. So I'm also a co-founder of our Rohingya Mayafana Collaborate Network. Rohingya means the women, so we kind of added our language just to make it harder for people. I mean, not to forget like their language, of course, but so this is, I will start off as on my journey. I was born in Malaysia and displaced there for 11 years of my life with no education. I was not provided, I was not allowed to go to school as being a Rohingyan. I was not about to attend any preschool or any other education systems because of, first, I was not a Malaysian citizen. Second, I was not, my parents did not belong from there. They were born in Myanmar, they flew from there when the war was going on. And all those times, I remember looking at the kids going to school, dressing up in Malaysia, dress codes like the scarf and thing. And I was gonna look at them like, damn, I want to go to school like wearing that. And I remember that time, I faced many challenges, and I remember people used to tell us, uneducated, Rohingya uneducated, go back to your thing. And I was like, I was born here, like I don't know where to go. So as the picture is the one in the show, the pink dress, that's me when I got resettled in US. And after 14 years of getting access to education, now I'm a software engineer and I have completed my education in computer science. And also, I started a network a year ago, last year in August, which started with Thailand trip, where we met the people in the camps. I got to see our Rohingya brothers and sisters struggles on the grounds, because I remember the struggles being refugees in Malaysia. But after year past 14 years, things doesn't it's not in my head. Like, I don't know what's really going on. Like, I really want to know, because I remember when my time was there, there was nobody like, like really helping changing the problem. So I remember my dad used to tell me, never forget the struggles, never forget where we're coming from. And that really pushed me through this network where we 5 girls met through social media, and then we went to Indonesia, Aceh, where we met the Rohingya on the ground. So this is some after talking to many stakeholders in Indonesia, and this is some what we are providing as a network. We are like teaching like learning alphabet for like all ages, like older late women, kids, and even older men, and also empowering education for all age. So we have like collected fund like from each country. Like one of our directors, she's from Vancouver, Canada. Another one is from Australia, and 2 of us are from US. So we are collect funds from there, and we send to the campus, and then we try to provide material for them, like laptop, books. I remember when I went there, I was meeting with the kids, and 2 little girls come up to me, are you Malaysian? Are you like Rohingya? And I was like, yeah, I'm Rohingya. So you don't look like a Rohingya one. And I was like, are you gonna come back? Like, will you bring me gift? And I was like, yeah, what do you want? We want books, we want pens, we want school bag, we wanna go to schools. And I was like, come on, like after like so many problems they went through, like some of them even don't have parents in the camps. They lost their parents. So like after so many struggles they've been through, they're only asking for education. So that really like made me like tear up, like really homesick, because I remember my parents are uneducated. My dad didn't get education. My mom didn't get education. But being resettled in U.S. after in their age of like 45 or 35, my dad now he's like he works in the network too, and my mom is a social work. So that tells like so much that our people has a lack of education, and that's what we were trying to do in the camps, where we're providing like access to education, because they can't go outside to do education or go to school. So we're teaching, especially the women, like in our Rohingya community, like women are the main one, like 90% of them like doesn't have education, and their lack of education. Most of them get married at a young age. So this is what we're trying to do, is building, like supporting youth, learning tools, teaching them computers, like other stuff, and also like learning new languages, because when you're in a different country, you need a language to speak. Like I speak 7 languages, so it's like a way to survive as a refugee. So it's something that I have to pick it up. And this is a school that I visited in Malaysia this year in February. It's called Al-Ikhlas School in Malaysia, but run by Rohingya community. When I went back to Malaysia after 14 years, I thought things might have been changed, but sadly it's not. It's more worse. Our Rohingya daily face problems, such as we met people in the grounds, schools, no access to education still, and how the man who's trying to provide for the family, when they go to work, like they will get stopped by cops, or and then it's hard for them to provide fees for school, and that's like it's like ongoing still. So that's something that we still like collected funds in Al-Ikhlas School. We met with stakeholders, like letting them know what's the issues, what's really happening, trying to change the narrative around, and making a good with, how would I say, like I still remember people don't like when we did a POX question, people don't know what's really happening with the Rohingya. So our main goal is like Rohingya is not choosing to be not go to school. They were not allowed to go to school. So when they call us uneducated, it's not like we are willing to because we don't want to study. It's because we don't have access to education. We don't have access to proper health. We don't have access to any security or a proper job. So how do you imagine living in a country for so long, not having a proper job, not education? Like my mom, like she flew to Malaysia when she was 2 years old. So she lived there for almost 33 years of her life, no education. And then when she resettled in the US, she's a social worker. So that tells a lot about like how we have lack of education in the region. And 1 second, sorry. So what we're based on after all of this, like the talking, the meeting with stakeholder, what we came up is with like increasing fund for underprivileged schools. So like, you know, the school that runs by locals, like providing them tools to support the refugees, and also providing materials such as like laptops, which we were like doing in the camps in Aceh, and also mentor programs for the student to connect with the model or can provide guardians and through support their education journey. Also counseling will be one thing. Why? Because when we visited the camps, they were talking about how the kids and they wake up in the morning screaming because they remember the time that they went through, like, you know, like all this hard time in their life. So counseling for that, something is like provide them to really move forward in life and step out of that past and change their futures for it. And also providing a parents engagement. So like a strong connections from school, family, or community to support network and create collaboration with people on the ground as well as a student to get access. So that's something that we're working on towards, and that's what we wanted to do. And just to know, our network just has been just 1 year, and we have did, like we went to Thailand and Malaysia and Indonesia within the 1 year. We did so much of work. So we continue to do more of this, and we just need a little bit of, you know, support and opportunity. So yeah. And you can feel free to follow our network where we show our works that we do in social media. So yeah, thank you so much.
Wow, Noor, that was very impressive and very powerful in the sense that as a migrant children, you have rise and you have overcome all those challenges. And thank you for providing key messages to us all who are the policy makers here to hear your voice. And one thing that comes out loud and clear from you is education. Give them access to education, not just say opportunity, but give them access. And I like your word that say, not because we don't want have education, but we don't have access. And the other thing that I feel across very powerful from you by sitting next to you is the leadership in you. So as you can see, being a youth, to be able to stand up on her own in the US with that condition and speak 7 languages, surviving skills. That's a skill not just to cope with challenges, but to thrive and to transform, like what Severin just mentioned earlier. So thank you very much, Noor, for sharing us that very powerful insight. Now, let's hear the other side of the world, which she's from the US. The other side of the world is Thailand. So, Nada, tell us your story, because you're most Muslim, but what is the environment like in Thailand and in the South? The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nada bin Rahim, President of the Children and Youth Council of Thailand. สวัสดีทุกท่านนะคะดิฉัน
A very good morning, Nada here, President of Children and Youth Council of Thailand. Allow me to speak Thai for this session as I share my stories. First and foremost, my personal journey Sorry if I might be overwhelmed with emotions at certain points. So I am one youth who grew up in the southernmost part of Thailand. And I almost lost my opportunity to get access to education. I almost was forced to drop out of education just because of my family status, my socioeconomic status, and the environment that is not conducive to quality education. The environment that hinders my access to education. When I was young, I had the opportunity to enter education from kindergarten, primary, secondary schools, but I think right now all of us where I'm from have gotten access to education, but what's more important is the access to high quality education. That is still something that's lacking. Today, I'm very sad that I cannot communicate well in English here in this platform. It's not just because I'm not trying hard. It's not because I didn't practice hard, but the environment there where I am from doesn't allow me to excel and to reach the highest capacity I can do. Like for me to speak English at home, for me to learn English at school, people would often say that I'm trying too hard, I'm a wannabe. There are issues of bullying in school which impedes my confidence to speak in English, and I've been trying to overcome all these challenges, but poverty is the key obstacle, right? But that doesn't mean that I have to stop myself due to it. I'm trying to tell my mother that, if you don't have the money for me to learn, it's okay. I would try to look for opportunities for me to learn. From secondary school to university level, I try to make my own money to make sure that I get my own access to education, because I know that education is the key to many doors out there. Without education, I will not be able to thrive in the world. Without education at primary, secondary school, or even tertiary education, I will only end up as food vendor on the streets. But that is not the future I envision for myself. That's not the future I envision for my family. So even though my mother doesn't have the money, I work hard. I try to sell products online, making sure that I earn enough to afford me to go to school. So I told everyone that I want to reach the highest level of education. I want to achieve the highest honor of university level education. And I also, since I don't have the money, I have to work and earn my own tuitions, right? And the third thing I do is trying to participate in all university activities as much as I can possibly do. So that are the three key goals up until I finished my education in social work. And so I finished with the highest honor degree as well. I graduated last year. And for the second goal that I have, I want to build the platform for change. I participated in a lot of goodwill activities. I tried to cooperate with an institution in Pattani. I was elected as the president of the student council at the social work faculty as well. So that is another way that I can contribute to change. And lastly, since I've been working while going to school, the one thing that I want to be grateful for is that we have the education funding in which we can apply for it. And that means we can get those money for me to afford education. And now I'm working in order to pay back for that student loans as well. But that's one way for me to get access to education. And of all the things that I've done, for me to be the president, the first Muslim woman to be the president of Children and Youth Council of Thailand, I mean, that is a big deal. And it is not just, it means I have overcome that stereotypes that we have about the roles women play. Now people perceive me as a human being with equal capacities. Everyone is equal. Everyone is capable of propelling change on, practical efforts that we can contribute to this. And my goal towards education doesn't stop here at undergrads level. I know that what I've learned is very important. Social work is very important. And so I decided to continue my study at Thammasat University in social work, and it's an MA. So I'm furthering my education in master's degree. And I'm here to tell everyone that education can result in change. When I was in the southernmost part of Thailand, I hosted the Education for Change program, trying to show people and also give opportunities for children and youths in the conflict areas in the southern part of Thailand to make sure that they can see the importance of education. For me to take myself from that point to now, one important thing that I want to highlight is that I need to pass on, that opportunities to others as well. I want to make sure that not only me who get the opportunity, I want others to have the same opportunities that I've received as well. And lastly, I want to communicate with relevant bodies and agencies. These are images that shows, how education can result in success. After I graduated with a bachelor's degree, I have received the HER Award in Thailand as well, education. And I also received the award as, the excellent student, excellent youth, or, role models. So everything that I've been doing is not because I want to receive awards. What I'm doing is to make sure that people can see that change can be created. And one recommendation I want to leave in this platform is that last year, I actually held the National Conference for Youth and Children. And I also surveyed the issues that children and youth across Thailand, 30,000 of them, and to see what are the challenges they face. And there are some statistics and numbers that I would like to share to those from the Ministry of Education as well as relevant parties. My first call of actions from that survey, the first thing is to make sure that all students get access to education. And secondly, I want people to review, whether or not we can increase more fundings for those who want to get access to education. And the third thing is on review and monitoring. Sometimes we need to create like a system that allow us to conduct effective monitoring and evaluation system. And also we want to make sure that teachers get trainings in order to make sure that we provide effective education to all youths and children. And the last point is trying to get children and youth to participate in the design of programs that are relevant to them, and also to create programs that really helped to allow them to get access to this effective education. So I'm not saying all this to force relevant parties to do something. Actually, I want to say that I am part of this. I want to be part of this movement. And so just give us the opportunity, give children and youth the opportunity to participate in the design, to participate in the movement, to make sure that lifelong learning is accessible for all. Thank you very much.
ขอบคุณมากค่ะ Thank you from Nada, and the story was equally strong and powerful, but interesting, you can see that from different side of the world, but they have a strong message, same message. The message that I got from Nada is that echoing the word that I've heard all along this morning is opportunity, education. Give them education, give them opportunity. And the other one that comes out from Nada is give them a platform, a space where they can engage, a space where they can get involved and have their voice heard. So two strong messages from these two youth. women. But one thing that I have to congratulate and salute both of you as a woman to myself is that the leadership in you doesn't have to be the leadership as a boss of an organization, but leadership in you because you have been struggle. Whatever the experience you are from the, even though you're not in the camp itself, but you see the challenge that your parents have, and even though children in the US, that's a struggle in itself as well. And you, Nada, coming from the south of Thailand, it's the Muslim province in the south of Thailand where many of the poor families still there. It's a strong link or bond between two of them. And I think as a policymaker, as an educator, we heard what they have to say. I think the next step is what you're gonna do next. What will be the steps? Are we gonna just talking? Are we gonna just say, echo the word opportunity? Are we gonna echo the word education? Have we moved or stepped forward from what we've been talking in the past previous year yet? If you haven't done so, I think this is still time. And let's start moving together because we're here, we have a Equitable Education Alliance getting stronger every year. 8 big organizations, I think half of the world, I would say, because consider Indonesian population, that can be like the majority of the population, and combining with alliance. So I think it's time to create partnership for all, like the Deputy Minister said and Grayot said, partnership for all and all for education. Thank you very much for your participation. Give a big round of applause for them.
Thank you very much. Shall we have a brief photo session before 3 of our beautiful panelists to leave the stage? Let's just, one brief photo session, please. This very impressive. I myself been listening backstage, sitting over there, and I just feel everything, both spoken and unspoken myself. As a woman, as a person who whose education has changed life as well, just one of the many sitting here on site and online, so changed my life dramatically. And I do hope that it's happened to everyone out there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is inspirational. Big round of applause for all of them, please. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. It means a lot to all of us here. And I believe that it will lead to actionable policies and plans that we can cater and make it happen together. Thank you. ขอบพระคุณเป็นอย่างสูงนะคะ Thank you. ขอบพระคุณค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ ขอบพระคุณค่ะ And also thank you very much, Dr. Tin Siripo as well for moderating the session very wonderfully. And always, I love to hear the conclusion from her. It's just all the beautiful points and mark to be shared and then key point to take away. ท่านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านค่ะ ladies and gentlemen, up next I'd like to have a brief photo session. That will be altogether 2 sessions. So the first session, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Managing Director, Equitable Education Fund, EEF Thailand, Dr. Grayot Patrawat onto the stage. Please welcome. เรียนเชิญคุณไกรยศนะคะ Also, I'd like to invite, ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Director, UNESCO Regional Office in Bangkok, Miss Marina Patrie, to join us on the stage. Would you please? I would like to invite Miss Severine Leonardi, the Deputy Representative at UNICEF Thailand. I'd like to again invite onto the stage, back to the stage once again, Ms. Nurahayati Sultan, co-founder and director of Youth Empowerment and Digital Literacy at the Rohingya Collaborative Network. And Ms. Nada bin Rohim, President of Children and Youth Council of Thailand. I guess we have universal language. It doesn't need to be English, but it's the language of humanity and mankind, ladies and gentlemen. ขออนุญาตในการเรียนเชิญค่ะ Dr. Nahathai Thieu Phaingam, Chairman, Subcommittee of Human Capital Development in Eastern Economic Corridor. Please join us. Mr. Sorawit Phaiboon Rattanakor, กรรมการบริหารกสศ EF Governing Board Member คุณหญิงกะสมาวรวรรณอยุธยา Please kindly join us, please. Governing Board Member. We'd also like to invite Executive Director Program Management Office at Kartu Partera, the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs Indonesia, Dr. Denny Puspa Perbasari. Look at that big smile, because these are the faces that represent 100,000 of people been dedicating their life in improving the quality of education and lifelong learning opportunity. Thank you very much, Ms. Nuhara Yati Sultan. ขอบพระคุณนะคะ Thank you, Ms. Nada bin Rohim. Thank you. Also, I'd like to thank Dr. Nahathai Thieu Phaingam. Thank you, Mr. Sorawit Phaiboon Rattanakor. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite National Coordinator, Civil Society Education Partnership, Timor-Leste, Marginalized Youth Forum, Mr. Jose De Jesus to the stage. Welcome. May I also invite Program Specialists, National Institute for Lifelong Education, Republic of Korea, Ms. Min Son Park. Welcome to the stage. Welcome Senior Manager, Evidence Adoption and Implementation, Australia Education Research Organisation, Ms. Kate Griffith. Welcome. Welcome Senior Education Officer, UNHCR Pakistan, Mr. Jael Shisanya. Welcome Dr. Bo Shankuliga, Undersecretary of State, Cambodia. Last but not least, I'd like to welcome the one and only Dr. Tin Siripo from UNICEF Thailand to join us on the stage. Our honorable moderator throughout this beautiful morning. Would you please? I believe that the conference will be inspirational and empowering. May I invite Ms. Renu Singh from Pratham Foundation to join us on the stage as well, please. Rinsen Kun Renu Singh onto the stage. And right after this section, ladies and gentlemen, every conversation will be conducted in English only. So you may return the translation headset if you'd like to, or you can return it once the conference concludes. I guess we need some time for the media representative because we have all of them from local and international community to spread all of these great and wonderful and strong message to wider group of audiences out there. And I'm proud and happy to be a part of this wonderful movement. I love that big smile, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆด้วยนะคะ Thank you so much. I love and then I honor every single piece of puzzle. I would call it that way because to create a wonderful transformative landscape for future, better, stronger, and more equitable education for all the kids, the youth, the adults out there. I guess we need all of the parties involved. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, for your information, the next session will commence at 11. So I'd like to invite all ladies and gentlemen to get back to the room by 11, and we will be starting the first plenary session, which is in this room, which is called Global Regional Education Landscape Regarding Equity in Skills Development and Lifelong Learning. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ